Jamie Dornan makes shocking statement. I'm ready to give up everything to return to my family. Flashbulbs flashed as Jamie Dornan stepped out of the Ritz Hotel in Paris. He had just finished a press conference for his latest action movie, a big-budget role that was sure to bring him awards glory. Fans surrounded him, journalists held microphones close to his face, hoping to get an exclusive. Jamie smiled, his eyes hidden behind sunglasses, his handsome face expressionless. But behind the elegant suit was a tired heart. He was no longer interested in the glitz. The posters, the parties, the empty compliments, all of them now just empty echoes in his heart. That night, he sat alone in his hotel room. The magnificent suite overlooking the Eiffel Tower felt like an isolated box. He scrolled through his phone, looking at an old photo, Amelia Warner and their 3 daughters, smiling brightly in the sun. The photo was taken 2 years ago, when everything was still intact, before Jamie threw himself into the Hollywood grind. He put his hand on the screen. Regret washed over him like a wave. A quiet turn, there was no big scandal, no betrayal, no cinematic drama. Jamie and Amelia's separation was quiet, almost kind, and that was what hurt the most. Amelia had said in a midnight conversation, "I don't blame you for your success, Jamie. I just regret that you no longer have time for the things that really matter." Jamie had been quiet. He'd been caught up in one film project after another, from Hollywood to Europe, from movies to fashion ads. He didn't come home for his youngest daughter's birthday. He missed his eldest daughter's first piano recital. The video calls had become short and sporadic. Amelia doesn't blame him, but every time she says, "It's okay, I'm busy," Jamie knows, love is fading. When he returns from 6 months of filming in Morocco, Amelia has moved out. There's no final word, just a letter left. "I can't wait any longer. The children need a father present, not just a name in a photo album." The real face behind fame. A year later, Jamie is an A-list name. He's a guest of honor at Cannes, the face of a global luxury brand. But every night, when he takes off his makeup and his suit, what's left is an empty man, struggling with his own meaning. He tries to fill his loneliness with fleeting relationships, with taking on more projects, with expensive wine and flights to nowhere. But the more he lives like that, the more lost he feels. One night in Milan, Jamie whispered to his assistant, "I traded my daughter's laughter for the applause of strangers." No one answered, but the confession haunted him for months afterward, the photo that wakes up. One autumn morning in New York, as Jamie was preparing to record his famous talk show, he received a text message from an unknown number. It revealed a photo, Amelia walking hand in hand with her 2 children in the park, the youngest riding a bike, her face beaming. Beneath the photo was a short message, "Did you know your daughter just learned to ride a bike without training wheels?" Jamie stood there, stunned. That moment felt like a knife piercing his false reality. How many milestones had he missed? How many firsts had he not been there for? He turned to the door and said to his manager, "Cancel the interview. I have to fly." "Where to?" Jamie simply replied, "Home." The shocking statement. 3 days later, Jamie Dornan appeared at a major film conference in London, where he was honored for his artistic contribution. In a luxurious auditorium, in front of hundreds of reporters, he stepped up to the podium to receive his award. The lights were shining on him, everyone waiting for a conventional speech of gratitude. But Jamie bowed his head for a long time, then looked up, his eyes red. "Thank you for all the honors, the applause, and the love from the audience. But I realize I have traded too much to get to this point." The whole audience fell silent. I was a husband, a father, a normal man. And I let it slip through my fingers because of fame. He paused. There was a long silence. I want to make a statement. It may surprise or disappoint many people. But I'm willing to give up everything, the role, the contract, the limelight, to go back to being a real father. I want to go back to Amelia, the woman who has always been my pillar. I want to ride bikes in the park with my children, read books before bed, and be present for every little moment I've missed. The whole auditorium exploded with excitement. The truth behind the scenes. The news spread like wildfire around the world. Newspapers ran headlines. Jamie Dornan says he's quitting Hollywood for his family. Love is back. Amelia Warner, the woman who made Jamie come back. The initial reactions were divided. One side praised him as a man who dares to live with his heart. The other criticized him for hypocrisy and wanting to use his family as a media stunt. But Jamie didn't care. He hung up the phone. He flew back to the old house in the suburbs where Amelia and the children lived. The house was small, simple, with a purple flower garden that she had planted herself. He stood in front of the gate, holding a bouquet of lavender, knocking on the door like a stranger full of hope. Amelia opened the door, surprised, silent. Jamie looked at her, didn't say a word, just handed the flowers. She looked at him silently for a long time, then sighed. Do you really want to go back, not because of a temporary feeling? Jamie replied softly, I want to go back, not because I feel empty, but because I've seen enough to understand what is real. Small steps back. Amelia didn't hug him. She didn't burst into tears or say touching words. She just nodded. Come in. Jamie walked into the familiar kitchen, where everything was the same. The glass of milk, the chair her youngest daughter sat on, her doodles on the fridge. His heart sank, but the road back was not easy. Amelia set clear boundaries. You need to prove it, with actions, not promises. Jamie started small, picking up the kids from school, cooking dinner, reading fairy tales, sitting for hours listening to her talk about her classmates, clearing his schedule, canceling 2 advertising contracts, pulling out of a major Hollywood film. He was criticized. Some called him a traitor to the arts. But Jamie didn't react. He just smiled when his daughter said, Daddy's been home a lot. I like it better.